In the recent past, the Andaman Nicobar Islands hit the headlines like a storm. There were hashtags, press conferences, and flashing headlines. Do you know what's happening there? Let's take a look. This video will focus on the Great Nicobar crisis, the conflict between strategic power and ecological heritage. Great Nicobar is the largest and southernmost of the Nicobar Islands, representing a critical ecological and military outpost for India. It is truly an emerald sentinel. The island's strategic geography is undeniable. It is just 40 nautical miles from the east-west international shipping lane, with over 35,000 ships passing annually. It is also closer to Southeast Asian countries than to the Indian mainland. This location creates a maritime dilemma for India. The Strait of Malacca is the world's most critical choke point, and 70% of China's energy imports pass through here. Developing Great Nicobar offers enhanced surveillance, the ability to impose a blockade during wartime, and a strategic deterrent against expansionist powers. Project GNIP is an 81,000 crore holistic development project. The goal is to transform Great Nicobar into a global maritime hub by 2050. Components include a transshipment port, a dual-use airport, a mega-city, and a power plant. The Galathea transshipment hub aims to capture global trade. Currently, 75% of India's transshipped cargo is handled at foreign ports. This terminal has the potential for 16 million TEUs handling capacity annually, bringing significant revenue home. The Blue Economy vision promises a logistic hub, saving $1 billion annually. It also plans a high-end sustainable tourism model, direct and indirect growth for thousands of jobs, and increased security by fortifying India's southern flank. However, behind the strategic ambition lies a steep ecological footprint. The project requires the sacrifice of one of the world's last pristine tropical rainforests. Great Nicobar contains an ancient tropical rainforest, hosting over 1,000 endemic species of flora and fauna. The development project requires felling between 7.1 lakh and 9.6 lakh trees, leading to a vanishing canopy. The ecosystem is home to endemic species, like the Nicobar megapode and the Nicobar long-tailed macaque. Biologists warn that habitat fragmentation from the port and airport will lead to the collapse of these endemic populations. The epicenter of the environmental controversy is the Galathea Bay sacrifice. This bay is known as the nesting grounds of the giants. Galathea Bay is the largest nesting site for giant leatherback turtles in the northern Indian Ocean. The turtles complete a millennial cycle, returning here year after year from as far as Africa and Australia. Unfortunately, the port is located directly on this nesting beach. The Shompen tribe is a semi-nomadic, uncontacted tribe whose very existence is threatened by, quote, development on Great Nicobar. The Shompen are a particularly vulnerable tribal group. Their population is estimated at less than 300 individuals, and they have had minimal contact with the outside world for centuries. Their uncontacted heritage is at severe risk. The government claims tribal leaders provided a, quote, no objection. However, these leaders later alleged coercion into signing blank papers, citing a lack of translation. In 2026, the Tribal Council withdrew its no objection certificate, highlighting a violation of the Forest Rights Act. Let's explore the scope of the proposed mega infrastructure, including the township, the airport, and the power plant. The plan envisions a city for 6.5 lakh people on an island currently home to about 8,000. Critics fear this massive population influx, representing an 8,000% increase, will destroy the fragile ecosystem and lead to the social marginalization of indigenous groups. The dual-use airport is designed for international civilian traffic and heavy military deployment, establishing the southernmost air defense node for India. This offers complete air superiority in the Bay of Bengal region. To power the development, a 450 MVA gas and solar hybrid power plant is planned, requiring significant pipeline infrastructure through the rainforest. The major concern is the disposal of industrial waste and heat on the fragile island. The government's solution for the massive tree felling is compensatory afforestation, planting millions of trees in Haryana and Madhya Pradesh. Ecologists argue that semi-arid plantations cannot replace a 1,000-year-old tropical rainforest ecosystem. The seismic reality is a major concern, as Great Nicobar is a living, moving landscape prone to catastrophic events. The 2004 tsunami caused the island to subside by nearly 4 meters in certain areas. Building megaports in Seismic Zone V is considered an environmental and engineering hazard of the highest order. The island sits on the Andaman-Sumatra subduction zone, one of the world's most active. Geologists warn that tectonic shifts could render the deepwater port useless, potentially leading to massive oil spills, liquefaction, and submerged infrastructure. Let's review the legal standoff, charting the battle from 2020 to the flashpoint in 2026. The timeline began in 2020 with the development proposal. Environment clearance was granted under protest in 2022, and the National Green Tribunal formed an expert committee in 2023. Major global protests followed in 2024. In 2025, tree marking for felling led to massive backlash. February 2026 saw the NGT giving a green signal for port construction. By April 2026, the Tribal Council withdrew consent, and the case reached the Calcutta High Court in May 2026. The political flashpoint occurred in late April 2026 with an opposition delegation visit to Campbell Bay. This visit drew international media attention to the ecological crisis. Recent headlines in May 2026 underscore the ongoing controversy and legal battles surrounding the project. In April 2026, global coverage intensified, focusing on the environmental impact and the rights of the indigenous Shompen tribe. This quote, scam allegation suggests that the development is an ecological and humanitarian heist. According to a statement from the opposition, millions of trees are being destroyed to benefit a select few corporate interests. The government released an official defense in May 2026 through an FAQ, aiming to justify the project and address mounting criticisms. The official tree felling estimate is 7.1 lakh trees. However, initial parliamentary responses cited nearly 9.64 lakh trees. The government attributes the downward revision to the phased, 30-year nature of the project, while activists see it as data manipulation. Great Nicobar was nominated as a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve in 2013. Now international bodies are reviewing its status. Developing the island could lead to its removal from global conservation lists, damaging India's environmental standing. 31 global anthropologists issued a warning, stating, quote, "Contact is death. The influx of hundreds of thousands of people brings the risk of transmitting diseases like flu and measles, to which the Shompen tribe has zero immunity, echoing the decline of the Great Andamanese." The conservation efforts gained massive public momentum under the hashtag #SaveGreatNicobar, leveraging social media, petitions, student action, and calls for global solidarity from organizations like Greenpeace and WWF. The fate of the project now rests on the legal frontier, with the Calcutta High Court's Port Blair bench set to act as the final arbiter. The port includes a major oil bunkering facility near the coral reefs of Galathea. Experts warn that a single oil spill in this high-current area could devastate the entire Nicobar archipelago within 72 hours. The Ministry of Defense justifies the project by calling Great Nicobar an unsinkable carrier. They argue that while forests can be replanted, the island's geography cannot be replicated, providing a permanent and stable platform for strategic military assets. Critics question the economic viability of the Galathea port. Singapore handles 37 million TEUs, while Galathea starts at 4 million. To compete, Galathea needs significantly lower tariffs, raising the question of whether the ecological cost is worth the risk. The island faces a local divide. Settlers support the project for the promised jobs and infrastructure, while native Nicobarese and the Shompen tribe fear for their ancestral survival, creating a conflict between economic hope and cultural preservation. This table summarizes the core arguments from the government, activists, and geologists, highlighting the standoff between strategic necessity, environmental destruction, and seismic risk. The Great Nicobar project is a complex balancing act between India's strategic maritime ambitions and its commitment to environmental and tribal preservation. The government views it as a strategic imperative, while critics fear an ecocide and cultural erasure, ultimately balancing a model city dream against ancestral survival.